5 rules to become exceptional at anything. Introduction. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize average is no longer enough. They begin to feel a deeper hunger inside themselves, a desire not simply to survive, not simply to exist, but to become extraordinary. They stop asking, how do I get by? And start asking, how do I rise above the crowd? The truth is, greatness is not reserved for a chosen few. It is not locked away for people born with special talent, perfect circumstances, or unlimited opportunities. Greatness is available to anyone willing to live by principles that most people ignore. Many people spend their lives searching for shortcuts. They want overnight success. They want instant results. They want recognition without sacrifice, rewards without effort, and achievement without discipline. But the people who truly rise to the top understand something different. Success is predictable. Excellence is predictable. Mastery is predictable. When you follow the right habits consistently, your life begins to change, slowly at first, quietly at first, but eventually the transformation becomes undeniable. The best athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, and thinkers in the world all live by certain rules. Their fields may be different, but their principles are often the same. They practice relentlessly, they focus deeply, they remain humble, they hold themselves to higher standards, and they surround themselves with people who challenge them to grow. These are not complicated secrets. They are simple truths. But simple does not mean easy. Most people know what they should do. Few people actually do it consistently. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is found in daily decisions. It is found in what you repeat. It is found in what you tolerate. It is found in what you focus on. And today, we are going to explore 5 powerful rules that can help transform your life if you choose to apply them with commitment and discipline. These are not temporary, motivational ideas. These are principles that shape character, principles that build resilience, principles that separate people who dream from people who achieve. If you follow these rules, your confidence will grow, your discipline will grow, your skill will grow, your life will grow. But if you ignore them, you will likely stay where you are, watching others achieve the goals you once hoped for. So take this seriously. Read every word carefully. Reflect deeply. And most importantly, apply what you learn. Because your future is not created by luck. It is created by your habits. And the person you become tomorrow is shaped by the choices you make today. Let us begin. Rule 1, commit yourself to continuous practice and lifelong learning. If you want to become exceptional at anything, you must understand one powerful truth. Mastery is not built in a single moment. It is built in repeated moments. It is built in quiet mornings, disciplined evenings, uncomfortable practice sessions, frustrating failures, and small improvements made consistently over time. Most people fall in love with results. Very few people fall in love with the process. That is why most people never reach greatness. They want success, but they do not want repetition. They want recognition, but they do not want discipline. They want achievement, but they do not want growth. The people who rise to the highest levels understand that excellence is hidden inside daily routines. The champion is not created on the day of competition. The champion is created during practice, during preparation, during sacrifice, during the moments when nobody is watching. Think about a musician practicing scales for hours. Think about an athlete training before sunrise. Think about a writer rewriting the same paragraph again and again until it feels right. Those moments may not look glamorous, but those moments build greatness. You must learn to appreciate the process, because the process is what shapes you. Every day you practice with intention, you are becoming stronger. Every day you learn something new, you are expanding your potential. Every day you push yourself beyond comfort, you are moving closer to mastery. Too many people quit because progress feels slow. But growth is often invisible in the beginning. A tree does not become tall overnight. It grows quietly underground before anyone sees results. Your growth works the same way. At first it may feel like nothing is changing, but every disciplined action is building a foundation. Eventually that foundation becomes impossible to ignore. Now let us talk about learning. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing education ends after school. Real growth begins when you become responsible for your own learning. The world changes constantly. Industries evolve. Technology advances. Opportunities shift. If you stop learning, you start falling behind. The best people in every field stay curious. They ask questions. They read books. They study their craft. They learn from mentors. They analyze their failures, and they continuously improve. A person who stops learning eventually becomes stagnant, but a person who remains teachable continues to evolve. That is why humility and learning are deeply connected. When you believe there is always more to discover, you remain open to growth. And growth keeps you relevant. Do not just repeat the same actions every day. Improve your actions. Reflect on your mistakes. Adjust your strategy. Strengthen your weaknesses. That is how mastery develops. There is also an important difference between ordinary practice and deliberate practice. Ordinary practice is repetition without awareness. Deliberate practice is focused improvement. Deliberate practice means identifying weaknesses and working directly on them. It means pushing yourself beyond comfort. It means staying mentally engaged. A basketball player does not become elite by casually shooting easy shots. An elite player studies movement, timing, pressure, accuracy, and decision-making. A speaker does not improve by repeating the same speech mindlessly. A great speaker studies pacing, storytelling, emotion, connection, and delivery. A business leader does not grow by doing the same thing every year. A strong leader studies communication, systems, psychology, and strategy. Growth happens when effort becomes intentional, and intentional effort requires discipline. There will be days when you feel tired, days when motivation disappears, days when progress feels invisible. Those are the days that matter most, because anyone can work when they feel inspired. But champions continue when inspiration fades. They rely on discipline, and discipline is one of the greatest superpowers a human being can develop. Discipline creates consistency. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates results. Never underestimate the power of small improvements. One extra hour of focused learning every day can completely change your future. One disciplined habit repeated over months can separate you from the crowd. One decision to stay committed when others quit can transform your entire life. Remember this: you do not become extraordinary overnight. You become extraordinary through repeated, ordinary actions performed with extraordinary commitment. Every day matters. Every repetition matters. Every lesson matters. Every improvement matters. So commit yourself to practice. Commit yourself to learning. Commit yourself to growth. And understand that mastery is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. The people who become the best are not necessarily the most gifted. They are often the people most willing to keep improving. So practice with purpose. Learn with humility. Grow with patience. And one day you will look back and realize your consistent effort has transformed you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. That is the power of continuous practice and lifelong learning. Rule 2, focus on one goal until you master it. One of the greatest reasons people fail to reach excellence is lack of focus. They start one thing, then they get distracted. They chase another opportunity, then another, then another. Their energy becomes divided. Their attention becomes scattered. And because of that, they never stay committed long enough to become truly great at anything. The modern world rewards distraction. People are constantly jumping between ideas, trends, goals, and ambitions. Everyone wants fast success. Everyone wants immediate results. But mastery demands patience. Mastery demands consistency. Mastery demands focus. Imagine trying to dig for water. If you dig 10 shallow holes in different places, you may never find anything. But if you dig deeply in one place, eventually you will reach water. That is the power of focused effort. The most successful people in the world understand this principle. They commit. They stay. They endure. They keep going long after excitement fades, because excitement is temporary. Discipline is lasting. Many people mistake movement for progress. Just because you are busy does not mean you are growing. Just because you are trying many things does not mean you are advancing. Real growth often requires deep concentration on one meaningful pursuit. When you focus deeply, your understanding increases. Your confidence grows. Your skill sharpens. Your results improve. And over time, your consistency compounds into mastery. Look at the greatest performers in any field. They did not become exceptional by changing direction every week. They stayed committed. They studied deeply. They practiced relentlessly. They refined their craft for years. That level of focus separates professionals from amateurs. The amateur quits when things become difficult. The professional stays. The amateur gets distracted. The professional remains committed. The amateur seeks comfort. The professional seeks growth. Focus also requires sacrifice. You cannot say yes to everything. Every meaningful goal demands trade-offs. If you want exceptional health, you may need to sacrifice unhealthy habits. If you want business success, you may need to sacrifice entertainment and distractions. If you want mastery in a skill, you may need to sacrifice temporary pleasures for long-term growth. Many people avoid commitment because commitment feels limiting. But commitment is actually freeing. When you know what matters most, your decisions become clearer. Your priorities become stronger. Your actions become more intentional. You stop wasting energy on things that do not move your life forward. Another important truth about focus is this: the beginning of every journey feels exciting, but the middle often feels difficult. That is where most people quit. The middle is where discipline matters. The middle is where growth happens. The middle is where character is built. Do not abandon your goal simply because progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress. What matters is staying consistent. A focused mind becomes powerful over time. Scattered energy becomes weak. Think of sunlight. Spread across the ground, it creates warmth. But concentrated through a magnifying glass, it can start a fire. Your attention works the same way. Concentrated effort creates extraordinary power. You must also protect your focus. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, comparison, noise, opinions, fear, doubt. If you allow every distraction to control your attention, your potential will remain undeveloped. Learn to say no. Learn to create boundaries. Learn to protect your energy, because focus is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Another challenge people face is boredom. They begin something with excitement, but eventually repetition feels dull. This is where many people fail. They confuse boredom with lack of purpose. But mastery often requires repetition. The elite performer embraces repetition. They understand that excellence is built through consistent refinement. You must train yourself to remain committed even when the process stops feeling exciting. Because growth is not always emotional. Sometimes growth is simply showing up again and again. Focus also creates confidence. When you dedicate yourself to one pursuit and improve steadily, you begin to trust yourself more. You realize you can handle difficulty. You realize you can persist. You realize you can grow. That confidence spills into every area of life. The person who learns discipline in one area often becomes stronger in many areas. So ask yourself, what truly matters most to me right now? What goal deserves my full attention? What skill deserves deeper commitment? And once you identify it, stop dabbling. Stop hesitating. Stop jumping from one thing to another. Commit fully. Stay focused. Keep improving. And continue until mastery becomes part of your identity. Because greatness belongs to people who stay long enough to develop it. Rule 3. Stay humble. Stay driven. Stay evolving. Success can either strengthen you or weaken you. It depends on how you respond to it. Many people believe failure is the greatest danger. But sometimes success becomes the bigger danger. Why? Because success can create arrogance. Success can create complacency. Success can convince you that growth is no longer necessary. And the moment a person stops growing, decline quietly begins. That is why truly exceptional people remain humble. Humility is not weakness. Humility is wisdom. It is the ability to recognize that no matter how much you achieve, there is always more to learn. Arrogance closes the mind. Humility keeps the mind open. An arrogant person believes they already know enough. A humble person remains curious. A humble person listens carefully. A humble person accepts correction. A humble person continues evolving. And evolution is necessary for long-term success. The world changes constantly. New challenges appear. New opportunities emerge. New skills become valuable. If you stop adapting, you eventually become outdated. The strongest people never assume they have finished growing. They remain students, no matter how experienced they become, no matter how successful they become, no matter how respected they become. Another essential quality is hunger, not desperation, not greed, but healthy ambition, the inner drive to keep improving, the desire to continue building, the commitment to become more capable. When people lose their hunger, they become comfortable, and comfort often destroys potential. Comfort encourages laziness. Comfort encourages excuses. Comfort weakens discipline. Growth rarely happens inside comfort zones. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you stretch your limits. When you pursue something beyond your current ability, the greatest performers maintain a strong internal fire. They wake up with purpose. They continue practicing after others stop. They continue learning after others settle. They continue striving after others become satisfied. This hunger keeps them progressing. But hunger alone is not enough. You also need perspective. You must remember that success is not only about achievement, it is also about identity. The person you become matters more than the applause you receive. Character matters. Integrity matters. Discipline matters. Kindness matters. A person may achieve wealth but lose humility. A person may achieve recognition but lose integrity. A person may achieve influence but lose wisdom. That is not true success. True success strengthens both achievement and character. That is why you must stay becoming. Life is a process of evolution. You are never finished. There is always another level of growth available, another lesson to learn, another weakness to overcome, another strength to develop. The most fulfilled people do not simply chase goals. They chase transformation. They enjoy becoming stronger. They enjoy becoming wiser. They enjoy becoming more disciplined. Growth itself becomes rewarding. And that mindset creates long-term resilience. Because external success can fluctuate. Money can rise and fall. Recognition can come and go. Opportunities can change. But inner growth stays with you. The person you become remains valuable regardless of circumstances. Another important truth is this. Humility attracts wisdom. Pride repels it. When you remain teachable, mentors appear. New ideas appear. Opportunities appear. But when pride controls you, learning stops. And when learning stops, growth slows. There is also emotional strength in humility. A humble person does not need constant validation. They do not need to prove superiority. They focus on improvement instead of comparison. That mindset creates peace, and peace creates clarity. Stay hungry enough to continue striving. Stay humble enough to continue learning. Stay committed enough to continue evolving. Because life rewards people who remain adaptable. And greatness belongs to people who never stop becoming better versions of themselves. Rule 4. Hold yourself to extraordinary standards. Your standards shape your future, not your wishes, not your intentions, not your excuses. Your standards. Every person has a personal standard for discipline, effort, behavior, and responsibility. And those standards determine the quality of their life. People who accept mediocrity usually live average lives. People who demand excellence from themselves create extraordinary results. The difference is not always talent. Often, it is expectation. Many people lower their standards whenever life becomes difficult. They compromise. They procrastinate. They become careless. And over time, those small compromises weaken their confidence. But people with strong standards continue showing up, even when tired, even when unmotivated, even when no one is watching. Because excellence is not based on mood. It is based on commitment. One of the most important habits you can develop is self-accountability. One of the most important habits you can develop is self-accountability. Do not wait for other people to push you. Do not wait for external pressure. Learn to lead yourself. Learn to discipline yourself. Learn to expect more from yourself. The strongest individuals are internally driven. They hold themselves responsible. They do not constantly need reminders. They do not constantly make excuses. They understand that their future depends on daily actions. Standards influence every part of life. The standard you set for health influences your energy. The standard you set for relationships influences your connection with others. The standard you set for work influences your career. The standard you set for discipline influences your future. If your standards are low, your results will usually reflect that. But if your standards are high, your behavior begins to rise. You become more intentional, more focused, more reliable, more disciplined. High standards also build self-respect. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you begin trusting yourself. And self-trust is powerful. A person who trusts themselves becomes resilient because they know they can rely on their own discipline. Many people search for confidence, but confidence is often earned through action. When you repeatedly do difficult things, your confidence grows naturally. Another important truth is this: excellence is often built through small actions, small habits, small decisions, small disciplines, arriving on time, keeping promises, preparing carefully, speaking honestly, finishing what you start. Most people ignore small disciplines because they seem insignificant, but those small disciplines shape character, and character shapes destiny. People who become exceptional usually develop strong private habits. They prepare thoroughly. They practice consistently. They manage their time intentionally. They avoid unnecessary distraction. They continue improving even after success arrives. You must also understand that excellence requires discomfort. Growth often feels inconvenient. Discipline often feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is often a sign that you are expanding. Every meaningful achievement requires effort. Every meaningful transformation requires sacrifice. Do not run from difficult work. Embrace it. The ability to handle discomfort is one of the greatest advantages a person can develop. Another challenge is inconsistency. Many people perform well occasionally, but excellence requires consistency. Anyone can work hard for one day. The challenge is maintaining discipline repeatedly. Your life changes through repeated action, not occasional bursts of motivation. That is why routines matter. Systems matter. Habits matter. Create daily standards for yourself. Standards for health. Standards for focus. Standards for effort. Standards for behavior. And commit to them, not perfectly, but consistently. You should also avoid comparing yourself constantly to others. Your greatest competition is your previous self. Focus on improvement. Focus on growth. Focus on becoming stronger than yesterday. That mindset creates long-term progress. Another important point: your standards influence people around you. Strong discipline inspires others. Integrity influences others. Commitment influences others. Leadership begins with personal example. When people see consistency in your actions, they trust your character. And trust creates influence. Do not lower your standards to fit into environments that encourage mediocrity. Raise your standards and become an example. The world already has enough people making excuses. Become someone who takes responsibility. Become someone who follows through. Become someone who lives with discipline. Because extraordinary lives are built by people who expect more from themselves. And when you consistently hold yourself to higher standards, your entire identity begins to change. You become stronger, more focused, more dependable, more capable. That is the power of personal excellence. Rule 5, surround yourself with excellence. Human beings are deeply influenced by their environment. The people around you shape your mindset, your habits, your expectations, your beliefs, your behavior. Whether you realize it or not, your circle influences your future. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, eventually negativity affects your thinking. If you surround yourself with laziness, eventually your discipline weakens. If you surround yourself with people who avoid growth, your ambition may slowly disappear. But when you surround yourself with disciplined, focused, and driven individuals, something powerful happens. Your standards rise. Your vision expands. Your confidence grows. Your actions improve. Excellence is contagious. So is mediocrity. That is why you must become intentional about your environment. Not everyone deserves close access to your life. Not every influence deserves your attention. You must choose wisely. Many people stay trapped in environments that limit their growth because they fear change. But growth often requires new environments, new conversations, new mentors, new challenges, new expectations. If you want different results, you often need different influences. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Do they encourage growth? Do they challenge you? Do they inspire discipline? Do they support your goals? Or do they encourage excuses, distractions, and negativity? Your future is too valuable to ignore these questions. One powerful way to accelerate growth is through mentorship. A mentor can shorten your learning curve. A mentor can help you avoid unnecessary mistakes. A mentor can provide wisdom that saves years of struggle. Learn from people who have already achieved what you hope to achieve. Study their habits. Study their mindset. Study their discipline. Success leaves clues. You do not need to copy someone completely, but you can absolutely learn from their experience. Books are also powerful mentors. Ideas shape identity. The content you consume influences your thinking. What you read, what you watch, what you listen to, all of it affects your mindset. Feed your mind with wisdom. Feed your mind with growth. Feed your mind with ideas that strengthen your character. Another important truth is this. Sometimes growth requires distance. Distance from constant negativity. Distance from toxic influences. Distance from environments that repeatedly pull you backward. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It means becoming intentional. Protect your energy. Protect your mindset. Protect your focus. Strong environments create strong people. Weak environments often create weak habits. You must also become the kind of person who contributes positively to others. Do not only seek excellent people, become an excellent influence yourself. Encourage discipline. Encourage growth. Encourage honesty. Encourage ambition. The strongest communities are built by people who challenge one another to improve. Another reality is this. Being around high-performing individuals may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel intimidated. You may feel inexperienced. You may feel behind. But discomfort can become a catalyst for growth. Instead of shrinking, learn, observe, adapt, improve. Allow strong environments to elevate your standards. Because eventually, you begin thinking differently. You begin acting differently. You begin expecting more from yourself. And those shifts create transformation. The quality of your environment matters more than many people realize. A seed planted in poor soil struggles to grow. A seed planted in healthy soil has greater opportunity to thrive. Your environment works the same way. Choose environments that support your growth. Choose relationships that encourage discipline. Choose conversations that expand your thinking. Choose influences that strengthen your character. Because the people around you either pull you upward or hold you down. And if you truly want to become exceptional, you must intentionally surround yourself with excellence. Final thoughts. The path to extraordinary living. Now you have the 5 principles. 5 powerful rules that can transform your life if you apply them consistently. Commit yourself to continuous practice and learning. Focus deeply until mastery develops. Stay humble, stay driven, and keep evolving. Hold yourself to extraordinary standards and surround yourself with excellence. These principles may sound simple, but simple does not mean easy. Most people understand these ideas intellectually. Very few people apply them daily. That is why extraordinary results remain rare. Success is not built through occasional inspiration. It is built through repeated discipline. Your habits shape your future. Your mindset shapes your habits. And your decisions shape your destiny. There will be difficult days. Days when motivation disappears. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when failure discourages you. But remember this, consistency matters more than temporary emotion. The people who eventually succeed are often the people who simply refuse to quit. Do not underestimate the power of persistence. A small daily effort repeated for years can completely transform a human life. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You simply need to keep improving. One lesson at a time. One discipline at a time. One decision at a time. Growth is gradual. Mastery is gradual. Transformation is gradual. But gradual progress still creates extraordinary results over time. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstances. Rut growth begins the moment you decide to take responsibility for your life. Start where you are. Use what you have. Build from there. Do not allow fear to stop you. Do not allow comparison to weaken you. Do not allow temporary failure to define you. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of growth. Every mistake contains a lesson. Every challenge contains an opportunity. Every setback contains potential wisdom. The key is to keep moving forward. Remember this truth. The strongest people are not always the most naturally gifted. They are often the most disciplined, the most focused, the most resilient, the most committed, and those qualities can be developed. Your future is not fixed. Your identity is not permanent. Your current limitations do not define your ultimate potential. Human beings are capable of incredible transformation when they commit themselves fully. Who are capable of more than you realize. More discipline, more courage, more focus, more growth, more resilience. But potential means nothing without action. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates belief. Belief creates transformation. So stop waiting. Begin now. Strengthen your habits. Strengthen your discipline. Strengthen your mindset. And commit yourself fully to becoming the strongest version of yourself. One day, people may look at your success and assume it happened suddenly, but you will know the truth. You will know it was built through daily effort, daily sacrifice, daily focus, daily growth. That is how extraordinary lives are created. Not through luck, not through magic, but through consistent discipline applied for time. Oh, rise with purpose. Work with intention. Learn continuously. Stay focused. Stay humble. And never stop becoming, because the world always makes room for people who are committed to excellence. And when you dedicate yourself fully to growth, discipline, and purpose, your life begins to reflect the greatness that was always possible within you. The journey will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Keep going, keep growing, keep becoming, and never settle for less than the best version of yourself. Because greatness is not reserved for a few. Greatness belongs to those who commit themselves fully to the process. And that process begins today.